Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to review Guardians of the Galaxy in our March to Infinity War. Welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent. As you can see, we are no longer on the road. We are back in the man cave, the Batman cave, as I sometimes like to call it. But we're talking Guardians of the Galaxy today. Now, in our March to Infinity War series, we are more than halfway through. Doesn't seem like it, but we are almost there. In fact, Infinity War has been moved up to April 27th. It's no longer May 1st or 2nd, May 4th, I don't even know. But good news is it came out a week early and you don't have to avoid spoilers anymore. So that means we got to pick up the pace on our reviews, got to start being more timely, and actually these are just going to come out whenever they come out. That's the way it rolls. But anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy is a film directed by James Gunn, came out in August of 2014. So just normally big summer movies that are expected to be hits do not come out in August. Marvel put this movie there. Some say they thought it was going to fail. Some say they put it there on purpose because it was wide open and it had no competition practically. And I don't know where it falls. What happened was that this movie made a lot of money. And Marvel was like, oh yeah, we got something here. I think it succeeded because I don't really remember what else came out that summer in 2014. But Guardians of the Galaxy was something unlike anything we'd seen that summer. It was fun, it was funny, it was irreverent, didn't take itself too seriously. It was just a great time and a great way to close out the summer in August that summer a few years back. So I think that's why it did so well, and people were just like, oh, it was almost like a breath of fresh air that summer. So Chris Pratt launched him into mega movie stardom, this movie right here. He soon followed it up with Jurassic World, which launched him into even more movie stardom. He's got Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that's come out, and he's going to be in Infinity War this summer. We got great voice work here by Vin Diesel. He's playing Groot. I am Groot, or I am. He's so I can't do it that deep, so I'm not even going to try. We got Bradley Cooper as Rocket, or Rocket Raccoon as he doesn't want to be called. We got Gamora is here, Zoe Saldana. And we got Chris Batista as Drax the Destroyer. So, an all-around great cast. I think a lot of people really didn't know how this was going to work out. I mean, we knew Chris Pratt was going to be funny. We didn't really know how Drax was going to be portrayed. And, Batista is kind of an ex-wrestler who's, at the time, and maybe still, was trying to find his footing in the acting world. And, nobody had any idea. Bradley Cooper, we knew he could be a good actor, but could he be a good voice actor? Vin Diesel as Groot, we kind of knew that was just going to be I Am Groot if they stuck to the comics. And they did, for the most part. So Bradley Cooper, I think, took everybody by surprise with his voice work. He really does not mail it in this movie. He actually gives a good voice performance and kind of gives Rocket a little bit different voice than his regular one, which I really like because it doesn't sound like Bradley Cooper when you hear it. Immediately. I mean, you kind of get there if you listen really closely. It does sound like his normal voice at some points, but he's like a little more raspy when he's talking as Rocket, and I like that. I think it lends a lot to the performance. But we got to talk about James Gunn, who is the writer and director on this movie. You might not know him before this movie because nobody really did. This is one of those directors that Marvel really took a chance on, and it succeeded for them. I bet they paid him a little bit of money, and I'm sure hopefully he got paid after that. But he did get paid twice. He helped write the movie and he directed the movie. I think that's how that works, right? But James Gunn before this had done Slither. He had done, I think he did Hero after Guardians of the Galaxy. He actually wrote the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead remake. If you have not seen that, highly recommend that. Great film, really funny. And I think he had come from the Trauma Films group and was involved in making movies before then, but kind of an unknown at this point when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. So really good surprise, really big hit. Everybody pretty much loved the movie. The problem I have with this movie is I think the villains are really thin. You have Jaimon Hunsu as Korath the Pursuer. Korath. His name I don't think is even mentioned that much in the movie, so he's kind of, and he's sidelined very, very quickly. He's kind of just in the movie in the very beginning says, "Who?" when you get the Star-Lord line for the first time, and then you don't see that much of him after that. You also have Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser, and he is the central villain of this story, and they kind of turn him into a crazy person, whereas in the comics he's actually a hero, and he kind of joins the Guardians of the Galaxy later on. I think he's married to Lilandra of the Shi'ar Empire at some point in the comics. Anyway, he's a long-lasting character. He is not a guy that follows Thanos in the comic books at all. If anything, he hates Thanos just as much as Drax does. So there's that. But they want to use him as the villain and introduce the Kree. More power to him. Hopefully we get to see the Kree Supreme Intelligence in the Captain Marvel film, because they just announced that not only are the Skrulls in the Captain Marvel film, which takes place in the 90s, so we're going to see Nick Fury without an eye patch. We're going to see Agent Coulson back to life in the 90s. We're also going to see Ronan the Accuser and Korath the Pursuer from the Kree Empire right here in the Captain Marvel movie, which is pretty cool. So hopefully we got Kree, we got Skrulls, we're going to get the Kree and Skrull War, and I think that's going to be the plot line for the Captain Marvel movie. But anyway, Kree Supreme Intelligence. Go look it up. Google it. It's scary. It's like a green pile of shit with tentacles that talks. Like I said, it's crazy, but I want to see it on film, and that would be a huge deal if we saw that. Quite an Easter egg. And you want to talk about Easter eggs, this movie's chock full of them, mainly in one scene, where we go to the Collector, played by Benicio del Toro, and you see a whole bunch of stuff. You see Adam Warlock's cocoon, I think at one point. There's a dark elf from the Thor movie that sucked. That's in this movie. You see Cosmo, which is the dog with the space helmet. In the comics, he's also a Guardian of the Galaxy. He's just not in this movie. Maybe they didn't want too many talking animals. What else did we see? Whole bunch of stuff in the movie. Howard the Duck is there at the end. Lots of artifacts, things like that. So great scene, lots of Easter eggs. You can pour over that. Talking about Easter eggs, James Gunn has said there is one Easter egg in particular in the first Guardians film that nobody has found yet. And just last week, they pointed out that during Stan Lee's cameo, you're looking at it through like Rocket's glasses or binoculars or something. All these alien languages are popped up. There is one that's translatable from Marvel Comics, and it says Skrulls in this other alien language, like right next to Stan Lee's head when he's flirting with that girl. That was not the Easter egg that James Gunn was talking about. So there is stuff mined into this movie that fans are gonna be pouring over for years and years trying to find this Easter egg. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not, maybe it's a total fabrication. I have no idea. Anyway, we are forgetting probably the best character to come out of this movie, which is Michael Rooker as Yondu. He's the blue guy with the fin, cut off fin, and the whistling arrow and stuff like that. He's just amazing in this movie. More so, I think, than in Guardians Volume 2, but he laid the foundation here for everybody to truly appreciate what he brought as an actor and a performer when he did Volume 2. But we'll get to that in a couple weeks. But Guardians of the Galaxy, basically the plot is, Peter Quill, young Star-Lord, is taken from his home, and then we meet him years later, and he's trying to find this artifact, and the movie starts out. I didn't even talk about the music. The music is really used very well here, and I think I remember reading when the movie was first coming out that James Gunn wrote these specific songs in the script, and then had Marvel go after all these weird 70s pop songs and soft rock disco songs, stuff like that. But these songs are in there in each scene in the script, so they're there from the beginning. This movie was written with this soundtrack in mind. So that's kind of the visionary James Gunn that you want to appreciate. But anyway, it looks pretty dour. Peter Quill pops on these headphones, the song starts, and it's just, he's moving and grooving as he's like jumping over canyons and kicking away weird space rats, and picks one up and sings it like a microphone and throws it away. Just really weird stuff. Anyway, he finds this orb, and that's kind of our MacGuffin. The thing the whole film revolves around is this orb. And we later find out That's the Power Stone, one of the Infinity Stones, and we learn a little bit about them later on. We'll get to that. But the Kree want it. Ronan wants it because he's working for Thanos, and Peter Quill's supposed to deliver it to the Ravagers, led by Yondu. He doesn't want to do that either. He wants the money for himself. He tries to sell it. That's where we meet Gamora. Things go bad. Rocket and Groot intervene. They go badder, and then they get thrown in prison, and they all kind of come together in this first, 40 minutes. Really kind of quick, actually, as a team, and then escape from there as a team, and then they're a team the rest of the movie. So one thing I really, really liked about this movie, rewatching it, for the, I don't know, 9th time, something like that, was I never really realized how quickly they formed a team. They didn't start out as a team, but we didn't have, it's not like the Avengers where they took an hour and a half to really become a team. It was, you're a team that quickly, and we're going to move on from there and go forward. And I think that was a really, really good piece of storytelling by James Gunn. So anyway, we're chasing around the Power Stone. We involve the Nova Corps, who in this movie are not the Nova Corps from the comics. Now, you may be going, Brent, I've only seen the movies. Well, let me let you know. The Nova Corps from the comics are kind of like Marvel Universe's Green Lanterns. They're like this intergalactic space cops, and they have power blasts from their gloves, and they all wear helmets. Nobody really wore a helmet in this movie in the Nova Corps. They have the same uniform with this weird triangle thing. But I think in their helmet, there's an intelligence that talks to them, almost like a computer, like Tony Stark's AI. But they're all different races, whereas on Xandar in the movie, it looks like they're mostly a humanoid race and just regular alien space cops. Not really superpowered, but maybe that's to come. Maybe. We will find out. Probably in Guardians 3, I'm thinking. Anyway, like I said, there's so much to talk about this movie. We chase everybody to Xandar, basically. Ronan comes and ends up in a huge space battle with these the Nova Corps spaceships are trying to hold him back. He wants to destroy Xandar because he's mad at them because of some peace treaty about the Kree War, which I'm thinking is going to happen then. Since they planted that seed here in Guardians 1, we're going to see that peace treaty or that war being talked about or shown in the Captain Marvel movie in a couple years. So that's probably what that was referencing. But anyway, he's trying to destroy it with the Power Stone, this purple gem, the purple stone. And the Guardians stop him using a dance-off. Then they grab the stone, and they all join hands together, and they blow Ronan the Accuser. They don't call him the Accuser, but they blow Ronan away. So significant things are the Easter eggs, the music, but really I think Thanos and the history, little bits of history about the Infinity Stones are in this movie. So the Collector kind of shows that the universe started as 6 singularities, which were then combined into very powerful, he calls them ingots, these weird stones, which are then refined to these little gem things that you see in the movie. And we actually see, cool thing, the Celestials, the Marvel Comics Celestials, holding the Infinity Stones, and I think one of them's walking over this giant, he's like this giant dude in that flashback scene, and destroying the whole planet. Now, that is a Marvel Comics Celestial, not what was presented in Guardians 2 as Kurt Russell. They called him a Celestial. Not really. The Celestials are kind of these weird Jack Kirby looking dudes they're almost like giant robots, look like giant robots with giant helmets and weird patterns and stuff like that. Great design by Jack Kirby from all these weird things. Go search them out and look them up. They're really cool. Google them. But anyway, this movie is just enjoyable from start to finish. It's definitely a 5 out of 5 movie. So let's leave it at that and move on from there, shall we? So let me know what you thought about the video. What is your favorite part of Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one? And what's your favorite song on the soundtrack? Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, I will see you guys in the funny pages.